Okay, this is my raised bed. I've got some strawberry plants I've been growing for several years in this raised bed, and they're starting to put out some nice little strawberries. And I have the cardboard and the bricks to keep the weeds down. There's another one right there. And then I have some garlic and onions. And over here I planted some carrots that are just starting to come up. See right here. Carrots are just starting to come up. We haven't really had enough moisture for them. And then over here, this is the main part of the garden. Now last year, I let my garden lie fallow. I gave it a Sabbath rest, although it'd probably been about 9 years since I'd started planting it, so it wasn't exactly the seventh year, but I'm not Jewish anyway. But my husband put out some tomato plants, 12 tomato plants. Those are Better Boys that he bought at the farmer's co-op. They're doing well. He buried them down about a foot so they'd develop a strong root system. And these little pellets around them are goat manure. We put some goat manure and some kelp meal around them. Now right here I've got 2 rows of black-eyed peas, and they're just coming up. We got a nice rain a few days ago, and so these peas are just starting to come up. I found a few of them coming out of the ground this morning. Let's see if I'm getting that correctly, but I don't know if you can see it. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So those are peas. And the way I started these peas was about 5 or 6 years ago. I bought some a little bag of camellia black-eyed peas from the Save-A-Lot grocery store, and I planted them out in my lower field. And I think only 3 or 4 actually came up, but I saved the seeds from that. And the next year when I planted them, they were very, very abundant. And so I've been planting them every year since then from my own seed. And they're great fresh, but they're also really good to dry out and save for Christmas and other special occasions you want to cook a pot of peas. Now these are my potatoes. They're coming up really well. A friend of mine gave me some Evas. They're a white potato that's supposed to be a good keeper. And I planted these rows kind of in succession, not because I wanted to harvest them in succession, but because I was tired. I'm in my 70s, and I plant a row of I plant a row of potatoes. I dig it. You know, my husband tilled all this, but then I dig it with the shovel and spread the, in this case, composted chicken manure and kelp meal. The kelp meal provides micronutrients, and the chicken manure or goat manure provide nitrogen. And so I just would plant a row, and then I'd take a break, and then I'd plant a row and take a break. So all this right here that you see that's green and bushy, those are potatoes. And the last row was this one right here. You see they're not very tall yet. And I marked them as they came out of the ground with a rock or a brick so that we wouldn't step on them or till them under. And my husband keeps this tilled between the rows. See, these are some healthy looking potato plants. And then I have some berries growing over here. These are some thornless blackberries. And this is my buck goat. He's just a yearling. His name is Gale. He's the daddy of the little goat kid over there now. If you see her in the background, that's her mama, and she's lying with her mama. She's 2 months old. And so I have these thornless blackberries, and then all this is just weeds. And right here I have some raspberries. These were wild raspberries. I just transplanted them to the garden. Gail, you can't eat the phone, okay? And then right here I have some Egyptian walking onions that somebody gave me. The top of the onion, when it gets mature, will tip over and root in the ground and grow another onion. That's why they're called Egyptian walking onions. These are potatoes. There's another raspberry, and looks like it's starting to get some berries on it. And he would eat them if he had the chance. We're going to replace this field fence with stock panels, so he can't climb over. He's just a year old now, so he can't quite make it over the fence, but we're going to try and keep him in, which is a case. That can be difficult. Yeah, we see you, Gail. Hey, boy. He's a registered Nubian buck. And over here is where we keep the does. That's our hay bale right there. We get a round bale because it's cheaper than square bales. I like the square bales better because they're easier to manage, but this is a lot cheaper. This is Anna, our Nubian doe, and that's her little girl back there. Let's see if I can zoom in on her. That's Ginger, and Gail is her daddy. And right here is Priska, whose due date is today. We saw her get bred, so we know when her due date is. The gestation period for a goat is 5 months. And so her due date is today. And we haven't decided yet whether we're going to move her into another stall or just leave her in the pasture when she kids. Okay, there's Anna getting a drink of water. There's Mr. Daddy. Okay. This is my dog. Hey, boy. Hey, boy. Yeah, he's shy. He's not been on film before. Now, over here we have my larger garden, which is where I've got corn planted. Right here, this right here is the goat pen. And we have a top of the line Parmac solar fence charger. And it keeps this fence charged. This is Premier One electric netting, which I love, but this one is about 6 or 7 years old. It needs replacing now. It's kind of worn, but it still keeps the goats in and keeps the chickens from crossing over. And I'll show you what I've got down here in the lower field. I just planted this right before the rain came. And that was about 4 days ago. So this is my corn patch. And we put a few strands of electric fence across here just to try and keep the chickens from getting in there and scratching up my corn. At my husband's recommendation, I used the boards to outline where I planted. The row of corn is just to the left of each board. And I've got some in this section and then a little walkway between the two sections. And then down there you see I've got several more rows, about a dozen rows. I ran out of boards, so I marked those down there with electric fence posts. And the section closest to the fence, closest to the front fence, is planted in sunflowers. But like I said, all this has been planted about 4 days ago, so none of it has come up yet. We're expecting some rain this weekend. So I'm hoping that it'll bring this corn right out of the ground.